Welcome back to the Sibling Group Chat. I'm Owen.
And I'm Cassidy.
Today we are back at it with the Odyssey review, episode 61, Choices.
Yes, this is the 68th episode of Adventures in Odyssey and it originally aired on April 1st, 1989. It is a part of album 4, Fundamentals. We're back in that album. And in this episode, Lucy faces a dilemma when her science teacher asks her to do a report on evolution. And our themes are standing up for your faith and dealing with authority.
Yeah. I'm just going to go right out there and say I did not understand the point of this introduction whatsoever.
Yeah, no, it's just, I think another Phil Lawler wanting to write something funny because that's
I didn't even think it was
that's just our
particularly funny, but
no, it wasn't. But I will say, I now, as I'm older and like have a better understanding of words in general and French, I realize they're saying Chez Odyssey. As a child, I don't think I caught that. I was like, I don't know what we're calling
I
this restaurant.
caught that yeah, it was pretty obvious, I thought.
Well, I think as a kid, like I didn't know what Chez something meant, so like the words
Well,
in
I
my
don't know
head
what Shay
did not make
something
sense.
means either, but I knew they were talking about Odyssey
It just means house or like
from
place.
Odyssey
So
or of Odyssey.
no, it
Okay.
means place. So like Shay
Oh,
something is like so and so's place. So Odyssey place or whatever.
okay.
But and as a
Yeah,
kid, the sounds didn't click in my head.
I
For
see.
a lot of what gets said in this intro, actually, I think as a kid, I was like, I don't know what is going on here. I don't understand the sounds that are coming out of these people's mouths.
I don't really remember this episode all that much. So
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the gist of it, but I don't know that I've listened to it all that many times.
No, I haven't listened to it a ton either. I feel like because we are now to the last disc of album 4, this got left off a lot because Bad Company, Choices, and then the last episode we'll have, which is Go You Therefore, I feel like I know the least out of the entire album. So I must have just been skipping
Hmm,
album or disc 4 a lot. So
could be. Yeah, I guess we could hop into the actual episode part of it.
hmm
Lucy is in science class, and her teacher is showing them a video in class, which is about evolution and the Big Bang. And Lucy thinks the movie is dumb, and even like I think it's kind of funny. Lucy's just like talking the entire time to whoever is near her, like, "This is dumb. Don't you think this is dumb? Why are we watching this? I hate this class. What is going on?" Like, even if Lucy didn't agree with it, this seems a little bit out of character for her, but it was really funny.
it is funny. And was the video specifically about evolution, or was the video about the galaxy and the solar system, but teaching it from an evolution perspective?
Well, I thought the way I was listening to it, it sounded like the gist of it was about the Big Bang, but
Okay. I took it more
well,
as they're
because
teaching
they
about the
even
galaxy, but they were
when
teaching
her
that the
teacher
galaxy
tells
came from
her,
the Big Bang.
well, then her paper would have been about the galaxy, not evolution.
Well, I'm not talking about what they're learning about in class. I'm just talking about this specific video they were watching, but it's not really that important for the grand scheme
Oh,
of things.
well, I mean, it kind of is because if they were watching a video about the galaxy, then their topic of discussion in the class would have been the galaxy. Therefore, evolution would not have been the topic of her paper.
I suppose. Because it's really not that important.
But anyway,
Yeah.
it actually is the entire point of the entire episode is that she has to write a paper about evolution.
Okay, calm down.
I'm just
Moving
saying
on.
it's more important to the story than you think.
Okay, well then forget I questioned it.
But anyway, the class ends, and as is the case in Odyssey classrooms, it is both the end of the day and the end of the week.
And they have reading for next week. Always.
Reading chapter 5.
hmm I wrote in my notes, is this teacher Dan Isidro?
That's what I was thinking that too. No,
And
it's
then I was
Mr.
like,
Winthrop,
JK, it's
but it's
Mr. Winthrop.
yeah. We haven't had an episode with Daniel Cedro yet, have we? He's
uh,
in the Jimmy call or whatever, a call to
yeah,
mission
A Mission for
call.
Jimmy, I think is in album 6.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but
what
I
it
don't
is.
even recall
Okay.
having this voice actor yet at all. So that's why it
Yeah, I
really
don't think
stuck
so.
out. Yeah.
Daniel Cedro.
Mhm.
But anyway, her teacher asked to see her after class, and he tells her that. Well, he shows her a copy first of this school district teacher newspaper. First of all, is that a thing? I mean, obviously we didn't go
I
to
don't
public
know.
school, but like, is there teacher newspapers?
Well, probably not anymore. There's like I'm sure now there's teacher newsletters, teacher blogs, but in the late
Yeah, I
'80s,
suppose
I'm sure this probably was a thing.
that makes sense.
Hmm.
But anyway, she'd been selected to write an essay for it because she had the highest grades in the district, or she had one of the highest grades, and her essays were selected. I didn't understand completely how the process worked,
I
but it's
think
something
maybe
along
she
the
had
lines of
highest
she,
grades in her school or something like that. But yeah, something to do with her grades.
and then yeah, and then she was selected to write an essay for the was it called the Educator?
Yeah. Hmm.
Right. And it's supposed to be about the current area of study in class, which is evolution. And before they get to that part, Lucy seems pretty excited about it.
Yes, this is the beginning
Um,
of Lucy's writer lore.
yeah. But then when Mr. Winthrop tells her that's supposed to be about what they're studying in class, which is evolution, she's not excited. She says she doesn't want to write an essay about evolution, and Mr. Winthrop's like, "Well, that okay, too bad, I guess. That's what the instructions are." And then he also says that it's an assignment. It's not like it's an option. It's an assignment, and she'll be graded on it. And I just have a question here. Is everybody else writing an essay while she does this
I
for that? Because you can't give
I
a student an assignment for a grade and not have a corresponding grade for the rest of the class.
I questioned the same thing because I questioned this all throughout because the entire episode he makes it sound like it's for a grade, and so that's what other adults are going to continue to use to tell her that she needs to do it because it's an assignment. So regardless of if she wants it to be published, she needs to do the assignment. But I the question that is everyone else's assignment because yeah, you can't do that. Anyone who has ever asked a teacher for extra credit knows that if the teacher's going to give you extra credit, they have to give everyone else the extra credit because you can't give just one student an assignment. It has to be given to everybody.
Right. And it was not even that it's extra credit. It's just an extra
I'm not
assignment.
I'm
It's
not
not
saying this is
bonus.
extra credit. I'm saying anyone like that's what I
Yeah,
think
I
of
got you.
when I think about the fact that you have to give everybody the same assignment because
Hmm.
I feel like that's the instance I often most heard it in school was if one person asks for
Yeah.
extra credit, everyone has to have the same opportunity. But no, this
Well,
isn't
and
extra
I
credit.
think in this particular assignment, it's not that not everyone else would have to write with the same requirements, but there would have to be a corresponding grade for whatever it is that their essay was, because hers
Yeah,
is
like
a little bit special. But it can't just be that she has a special large grade, because apparently if she doesn't do it, it takes her grade down from highest in the class to darn near failing.
or at least in Lucy's eyes, it could be a B for all we know. But
It's true.
yeah, but yeah, I was even thinking like for this to make sense, you could be he could have assigned everybody to write a paper about what they're currently learning in class and then just publish hers. But that doesn't seem to
Right.
be what's going on. Yeah, I had the same problem.
Right. Yeah. That I I, I was really wondering about that.
Hmm. Clearly, Phil
So
Waller
then
is not.
after school, Lucy's at clearly at home. Lucy is helping her dad do the dishes, and she tells him that Mr. Winthrop had given her this assignment. Her dad is funny.
I know this scene sticks in
He's
my head so
washing.
much. With the never fear, use Summerborn dishwashing liquid. It cuts the heart out of grease.
Yeah, he's washing the dishes while doing infomercials for
Yeah,
his dish soap.
yeah.
And
Is the voice of her dad the same voice actor as Richard Maxwell?
I was wondering that. It's very close. I couldn't quite
Yeah,
tell.
I
It'd be
think it
kind of
might
funny
be.
if it was.
Yeah, yeah, it really would be. This is the
He's a
only.
Renaissance man.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be funny if Richard Maxwell like got this line about having produced infomercials or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is her dad's
Anyway, so
only
her
episode.
I think he's referenced in one more episode,
Yes,
but
but
then
this
yeah,
is his
that's her
only
dad's only
episode.
episode. Yeah. Uh, yeah. So she told her dad about the assignment, like, and she doesn't want to do it because it's about it. Well, actually, she just said she doesn't want to do it. She didn't tell her dad what it's about at first, and dad's like, well, sometimes we have to do things that uh, we don't like because someone in authority wants us to, and the Bible tells us to obey authority. And then Lucy asks if that's still true, if it's something that she doesn't believe is right, and explains like what the assignment's about. And so then her dad says, well, like she doesn't have to believe it, and I believe her teacher said the same thing. Like you don't have to believe it just to write the essay. And
Mm-hmm.
multiple people are going to say that to her throughout this episode, both her dad, her teacher, and I believe some people in a dream later.
Yes.
I don't remember if anybody else says it, but um, and she's afraid that if she does write it, then she's gonna like people are gonna assume that it is what she believes, and she doesn't want that to happen. But then if she doesn't write it, she's afraid people are gonna make fun of her because then everyone will know that she didn't write it. And her father basically says like she should make the choice that she believes is the best, but he's not gonna tell her what that is unless she absolutely wants him to, which he doesn't think she does, and she doesn't actually want him to either. Um, yeah, so that's about what happens there, I guess. Lucy goes to
Yeah.
bed early, I think.
We have the equally confusing part in this scene where her dad is saying, "Well, you do still need to write the paper because it's an assignment, but you don't necessarily have to have it published," which just further confuses the issue of why is this paper an assignment?
Right. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then our scene ends with her father dropping a glass and
That's the
saying,
hard out of
"It's the
Greece,
heart out
huh?
of
I gotta
Greece,
sue
huh?"
him for false
I,
advertising.
I'm not really sure how the dropping of the glass and the false advertising were related, but it was still funny.
Because it slipped out of his hand because it was slippery because it was still greasy. Or at least
Ah, that
that's
makes
his
sense.
excuse he's going with.
It sounded good to him.
Yeah. I wish we heard more from Hal Cunningham. And it's sad
Yeah.
to realize why we don't. And all because of a name slip up.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Anyway, as we move on, we find ourselves on Saturday, or at least we think we find ourselves on Saturday.
We
It had
think
clearly
we're
been a
on
long time since I
Saturday.
listened to this episode because
You
we were
didn't you
getting
didn't
through this
remember?
scene and I was really confused. And then I was like, oh wait, I know what's going on. Because it starts, it seems like a normal Saturday. She's headed to Wit's End
Yes.
and she goes in and talks to Wit. Wit asks how she is. She says she's recovering from a long week of school. Says, sounds like there's a lot of that going around. Then he offers to make her his world famous cherry fizz. Maybe that should have been my first clue that it was a dream because since when does he make a world famous cherry fizz?
Well,
But
I wondered that too. I was like, are Sherry Fizz's world famous outside of Lucy's dreams? Like, is this something her subconscious made up? Or was
well,
this going to be something they were going to go with
can I
for a
just
while?
say? Can I just say? It sounds disgusting because in my mind that sounds like throat spray.
I was thinking more along the lines of a
Because
cherry
you,
soda.
I get what it's supposed to be, but cherry fizz makes me think of the sore throat spray that we used to have, or maybe still have. It's cherry flavored, and you spray it on the back of your throat, and it like fizzes and like numbs it a little bit, and you have to like hold it there for a little bit, and then you spit it out.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. That's not what came to my mind, but I can see how that would ruin cherry fizzes for you if that is what came to mind.
That that was the first thing that came to mind. It sounds like sore throat spray.
Yeah, that would not be good.
But anyway, as she's sitting there at the counter, Connie comes up and asks her about the report. She had heard about it from somebody. Was it Bobby?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, Bobby. And her and Whit congratulate her on it, and Whit had remembered the educator because he used to be a teacher. And but she says she doesn't think she's going to do it because she doesn't believe in evolution. And Connie's like, "Well, I don't see the problem. Like, it's just an assignment. Nobody said you had to believe in it." And he's like, "Why does everybody keep saying that?" And then this is the real first moment that I was confused because Wit's whole tone of voice is like, oh, wait a minute now, it's an assignment that puts things in a whole different ballpark, doesn't it? And I'm like, what is wrong with Mr. Whitaker today? Like
His voice
that
does proceed
particular
to get more and more like scary as the dream continues from here.
that particular phrase, like what he said in that particular moment, wasn't completely like weird, but like the whole tone, I was like, what in the world?
Yeah.
And then he's talking about like to be subject to the teacher's authority, and then I have at this point in my notes is like I was thinking the tone of Wit and Connie was off, and then I remembered like as the scene was going, I was like, oh, this is a dream, because then him and Connie are talking to her like, well, you've got to make the right decision, and then like
do the right thing.
Yeah. Well, then in the Connie is like, well, maybe we should ask all the kids, and so they go like, everybody know about Lucy's assignment? Do we think she should do it? And then they're like
and
chanting,
at this point,
do the right thing, make the right decision.
And I think it's at the point when they ask for the other kids' opinions that the scary dream music starts. So then, if you weren't already sure something was up, once the scary dream music starts, and you're like, okay, something's going on here.
Yeah. Oh, and then because she says she doesn't know, then Wit's like, anybody who doesn't know what the right decision is has no place at Wit's End.
And Connie repeats it, has no place in Wit's End. And then I was like, why do things always echo in dreams?
Echo in dreams. Echo in dreams.
And poor Lucy's voice just keeps getting squeakier and squeakier as she starts freaking out. Like, I would be freaking out too if I thought I was really at Wit's End and this is what was happening to me.
Yeah. Anyway, and she wakes up from her dream, finds out it was just a dream. Then we find ourselves in Sunday school with non-dream Mr. Whitaker.
His voice just sounds so calm after that last scene.
I know, right? In Sunday school, Whit is answering a question from Marcia, I believe, is who asked the question. Mm-hmm. Yes, she asks about the phrase like "be in the world but not of it," and so he's talking about that the particular phrase is not in the Bible, but the idea is because as we serve Jesus, we're supposed to see the world through Jesus, and that causes us to look at things and do things differently. Mm-hmm. He says it's not always easy to see what the right choice is, but we should always make the best choice and pray about it, and might not be popular. And I probably should have taken more notes here because he definitely says some good stuff in there, and I didn't really write down what he said. So do you have anything else that he said there?
Well, I wrote down the verse he used was John 17:14, and I did check all the verses because Odyssey has a tendency to occasionally take verses out of context, so I was checking the verses to make sure they were using right, and this one, they did use it correctly. He explains that Christians should have a different view of the world, and that leads us to how we make different choices. And when he says choices, that's when it clicks with her to like, choices? What do you mean choices? And he talks about how, our worldview affects how we make choices between right and wrong. And Marcia is like, well, isn't it obvious what's the difference between right and wrong? And Whit points out that it's not always obvious, and what's right for one person could be wrong for somebody else. And I thought that was really important that he brought that up. And I didn't remember that lesson specifically from this episode, because he's breaking it down to, or what he's saying breaks down to like the discussion of conscience, not conscious. I think it's a really important episode that I learned later in life, and I didn't realize it was in this episode, so I thought that was good. The verse he has Lucy read, he has her read the end of Romans 14:23. Which is right at the end of Paul's discussion of eating food sacrificed to idols, which is the same lesson that Whit is teaching here. But I can see why he didn't want to go fully into that. I can't see Mr. Whitaker teaching that in an episode of Adventures in Odyssey. So. Yeah, it's a good lesson, and one that I did not realize was taught in this show.
Uh-huh. And, it helps Lucy make her decision, because in science class on Monday, after watching another movie about evolution...
I love Lucy's commentary during this one. That's a lot of hogwash. I didn't start it, like the movies did. It's also known how to go from an A to an F in one semester. You can say that again, Buster.
Yeah. And this one was about it was about humans, right? Humans evolving
I
or
think so, yeah.
something like that. Or at least part of it was, yeah. It was talking
Hmm.
about evolution's greatest um, achievement or whatever. And I
Yeah.
think that's what she says is a bunch of hogwash, which she
Yeah.
has a point. But we maybe I don't know. Hopefully we don't offend anybody with the evolution with this episode. In the YouTube comments.
Uh-huh.
Um, but anyway, she goes after class to go talk to her teacher, and she says that she's not going to write the assignment. And he asks why, and she says that it's because she doesn't believe it's right as a Christian. And I feel like I agree with Mr. Winthrop here. He's like, "Why did you say that on Friday?" And she's like, "I don't know. I guess you didn't think you'd care." But I mean, it makes sense. Or why he didn't even ask why she didn't want to write it on Friday.
I guess there's some misunderstanding going on from both sides because Lucy assumed he wouldn't care, and he assumed she didn't want to write it because she just didn't want to. Which I would think he would know Lucy well enough. If she's one of his best students, she's not going to not
Mm-hmm.
do an assignment just because she doesn't want to. So they were both
Right.
assuming things of the other that they probably shouldn't have.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so he says that like as a teacher, he doesn't believe that he should not force her to write something that goes against what she believes in, and so maybe they can figure out a solution to write, like to have her still write it. And he says the solution is simple: just write about evolution from a Christian perspective. Um, and yeah, that's about the end of the episode.
Yeah. What do you think? Obviously, the whole point of this episode is that choices are personal and things like this could, like, a different person could decide something different. But what do you think of Lucy's choice? Like, in this situation, what would you have done?
Well, if I thought that it was impossible for me to write the paper about evolution in a way that made it clear that I don't believe it, or because she was thinking like the way she writes, she had to like write it as if like stating every reason why evolution would most likely be true or whatever like that. Like, I feel
Hmm.
like if you think that what the assignment is saying is something that you legitimately can't do, I feel like you would have to talk to your teacher and say I can't write that.
I would
Um,
agree.
but I feel like I don't know. I've obviously never had an assignment that I didn't like think thought like that, but I feel like in general, or if you think to down Gillian Lane when they're doing science presentations and Justin decides to do his on creation, even though that wasn't one of the theories taught in class, like do something like that. Like, is it you're still doing the assignment? Maybe it's not exactly what was said, but like if you think that that is the best you can do while staying in what you believe, like that makes sense too.
Yeah. And I think in this specific instance, we're writing about evolution. I think it's good. Mr. Winthrop points this out after he tells her she can write it from her perspective. He points out evolution is just a theory. Like, as much as people want to
Mm-hmm.
say it's a proven fact, it's not. And I think
It's not.
as any smart person can acknowledge that. Even if they think it's the correct theory, I think they should be able to accept that it is just a theory. So she could have
It's
written this
true.
paper not even from a Christian perspective without coming down that it was fact. So
Right.
in this specific instance,
I
I
think
think
there are a
you
lot
could
of ways
write
she
the
could have gone
paper.
with it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But again, it comes down to conscience. Conscious.
Yeah.
I can't. I
When I
can't say the
was
right words
when I
here.
was listening to this episode and specifically like the videos that they were watching, it really made me think of videos that we watched in science class. Um, Obviously we went to a Christian school, so we were if we were watching stuff about evolution, it was from a Christian perspective, but about like both humans, but also like different animals and things that like if this didn't if we're thinking about this from an evolutionary perspective, if this didn't evolve at the exact right time, they would have had to start the whole thing over again because the entire species would have been wiped out. It's like stuff like that, like that. There's just no proof or anything that evolution has ever worked, and it's
Yeah.
extremely unlikely, I guess, because of just how precise everything would have had to be. And there's a solution for the preciseness, and that's that it was divinely created.
Yes. Yeah. We again in Christian school, alien science class, we watched both Bill Nye and Ken Ham. which is just really funny to think about. Because,
In fact, I actually in junior high we did debate presentations where one of us was arguing from an evolutionary perspective, like
yeah,
obviously we
I think
didn't
I probably
believe
did that
that,
too.
but
Yeah,
like that was the
but
assignment.
to be able to argue it, yeah,
Like
which is a
it's
good
not like we
lesson.
were
Yeah.
it's not like we ignored the entirety of the theory. We learned about it and we
Yeah.
learned the flaws in it and
Hmm.
whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a good lesson for kids to learn. Well, anyone, but this is written targeted at
Yeah.
kids. So.
I mean, even if it's not true, you should still have a basic understanding of different points of view.
Hmm.
I think that's the
Because
same reason like why we take worldview or like learn about other religions in Bible class is because you should have a basic like knowledge of what other people believe, or else you're not going to have any idea like
how
what
to reach
exactly they
them.
believe or how you could reach them. Yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
but yeah, I guess that about does it for today's episode. Fun episode, good episode. How many do we have? One more in album 4, or is this the last one in album 4?
One more in album four. Next week we'll have the episode "Go Ye Therefore." That'll be our last episode of album four. So the end of next
So
week
stay
we'll have
tuned
our
for a
album
tier
four
list.
tier list. Yes. But the end of this week. So this Friday, our bonus episode for May will be coming out a week early because the last Friday of the month is when our tier list needs to come out. So yes, be on the lookout for that episode. We do actually know what it's going to be about this time because we're going to record it right after this. So stay tuned for that.
Indeed, we do.
Hmm.
But I guess that about wraps it up for today. We thank you for watching and or listening. Subscribe wherever you get the podcast. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and we will see you next time.
Yep. Bye.